I lived way on the outskirts of Paris. I also lived as an au pair where I was in the middle of nowhere. And when I was in Paris with one of my host families, I was miserable because they just were not a good match for me. It's Edwina from Au Pair Paris. I wanted to talk to you today about, once you've decided to be an au pair, how to become an au pair, what family you should choose, what city you should choose, and all of that stuff. A lot of people think, oh yes, I can't wait to become an au pair and live in Paris. I am here to tell you that that is not the most important thing. I've been an au pair quite a few times. I lived way on the outskirts of Paris. I also lived as an au pair where I was in the middle of nowhere. And when I was in Paris with one of my host families, I was miserable because they just were not a good match for me. But when I was in the middle of nowhere in the south of France, in a very, very small city, not even the middle of nowhere, just a smaller city, I had the time of my life because my family really invested in me and got to know who I was and asked questions, and I was able to share these interesting conversations with them, and we were able to have a real exchange, which I didn't have with my first host family when I was in the center of Paris, next to Luxembourg Gardens, one of the best arrondissements that you can live in. I just wanted to talk about what you should be thinking about when you're choosing your host family and what it really means to be an au pair and what that looks like on a day-to-day basis. So first, I want to start out by saying on the Au Pair Instagram, every day we have day in the lives of au pairs that are all over the place. So if you want to know exactly what the schedule and planning of an au pair life looks like, definitely check out our Instagram. I'll put it down below. But generally speaking, in France especially, you work as an au pair Monday through Friday. Every family is different, so definitely keep that in mind when you're hearing me talk. But Monday through Friday is the typical schedule. You'll pick your au pair kids up from school. Sometimes you'll have to pick them up for lunch for an hour, and then you'll work until the family gets home around 7, 8 o'clock, depending on the family. Something unique about being an au pair in France is that house kids in France don't have school sometimes on Wednesdays, which means that you're working longer days on Wednesdays. My kids, for example, had a half day on Wednesdays, so I would pick them up at 12 and then work until 8. But my time also was compensated because I wasn't working all Wednesday because my host kids had activities. So I would work for an hour, pick them up, drop them off, then they would have judo, I would pick them up, drop them off, make them a snack, then they would have tennis, then we would watch a film, and so you kind of get used to the rhythm, but you definitely have to keep in mind that sometimes you're going to be working long days, sometimes you're going to be asked to work on the weekends, and it totally depends on your family and their schedule, but that's completely normal as an au pair. Now I just want to talk about what you should look for in your host family, how you can know what host family is right for you, and what questions you can ask them. I cannot repeat this enough. Choose your family over choosing the place. Choose your family over choosing the place. The family makes or breaks your experience. To choose your best host family, you can ask them questions over Skype and get to know them. For example, I'm a really big theater person and entrepreneur person. I was really lucky that my host parents, with the best family that I ever had, they were both entrepreneurs. Something that I really looked for in my host family was that they had the same discipline tactics as me, and they were okay with me disciplining the kids. That's really important because if you can't discipline the kids the way that you want to, that you're not in agreement with your host parents about that, that's gonna make for lots of arguments and rough times during your host experience. Because I had watched kids and I had been an au pair before, I now know to ask questions like, what are your discipline tactics? What are your punishment tactics? And things like that. What do you do on your free time? What jobs do you have? How do you spend your family vacations and things like that? And you get to know your host family. Asking them if you're allowed to go with them on family vacations. Asking them what it is that they're looking from you. Some host families want you to speak English with your kids all the time. Some host families want to just have you be there as a bubbly personality that plays with their kids. They don't care if you don't speak any French or if you don't speak to your kids in English. This is a very personal preference. Everyone is different. I personally can't watch more than 2 kids, one in each hand. But I've learned that because of experiences and because I've reflected on it and I've thought about what I like and what I don't like. So it's really important to get to know yourself. That sounds so cheesy, but getting to know yourself is going to help you make your decision a lot easier when it comes to choosing a host family. If you want more specific questions about what you can ask your host family over those Skype calls, definitely go check out our videos on our channel. We talk about Skype calls, and there's one video titled even 8 questions that you can ask during your first Skype call. So definitely check that out and comment down below to show us your support and ask us more questions about how you can get to know your family and what family is best for you. The best thing that you can do, of course, is getting to ask people who have done it before you. So join the APOP community, the Au Pair Au Pairs community, by going to aupairaupairs.com and ask people who have been au pairs before, who have done what you want to do. Ask them all the questions, watch our videos, and become a part of our community. We can't wait to see you there. I am off, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!